how's it going? Welcome back to the show. Today I have such a good interview for you and I'm really excited. So I'm actually interviewing Kelly Roach and she is the host of the top-rated podcast, Unstoppable Success Radio, an international best-selling author and the CEO of Kelly Roach Coaching. As a former NFL cheerleader and Fortune 500 executive where she was promoted 7 times in 8 years, Kelly brings a powerful combination of proven and profitable business growth strategies coupled with the mindset, wellness, and productivity practices required to help entrepreneurs build a profitable business around a life they absolutely love. Kelly's passion and purpose is in helping entrepreneurs around the world achieve exponential profit, sales, and income growth. So we really dive into what it takes to build a really solid team so you can work less and earn more. We go into the systems and the processes and onboarding and all that stuff that we need as entrepreneurs. So enjoy. Welcome to the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Ngom. I'm an entrepreneur, mom, adventure lover, and creator of Pin with Purpose. I went from food stamps and negative $400 in my checking account to a 6-figure online business. This is your show to learn from me and other inspiring entrepreneurs how to monetize your passion and live out your purpose. If you're ready to increase your income while making a massive impact on the world, this is the show for you. I'm so happy you're here. Let's dive in. Hey, Kelly, welcome to the show.
Hey there, Rachel. I'm excited to be here.
I am so excited that you're here. So why don't we just start off and you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm a business growth strategist and a peak performance coach. And my mission with my business is to help entrepreneurs start, build, and scale businesses that allow them to put their family first and become financially free without compromising their quality of life. My passion is really in helping entrepreneurs understand how to position themselves in the market with really unbelievable free content that allows them to become, a thought leader in their space and to really focus on serving and teaching as the primary mechanism for growth. And that's a little bit about what I do. And I'm a wife and a mom. So that's, my most important job in life and where, the majority of my focus and energy is at this point. And I love podcasting. So I'm happy to be here with you.
Oh my goodness. We're going to have so much fun. I love everything you've said already. So just tell us how the heck you got started as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't the plan. The plan was more of the corporate ladder type thing. And I did do that, in my 20s. I started with a Fortune 500 firm. I was promoted 7 times in 8 years, became the youngest senior vice president in the company. I was running 17 different locations, millions and millions of dollars of assets. I had a team of 100 people, loved it, amazing experience, learned like everything there is to know about building business and growing teams. And I feel so blessed to have had that experience because that's how I do what I do today so well. But definitely was, track for burnout for sure. Mm-hmm. It really just kind of got to a tipping point where I had met my husband. I knew that I wanted to get married. I wanted to have a life. I wanted to have a family. And I kind of was just dialing the clock forward and saying, if I stay on this track that I'm on, like, what's my life going to look like? How does this all play out? And I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like what I saw. And, I have a background. Obviously, I was an NFL cheerleader. I was an aerobics instructor, competitive dancer. So health and wellness is super, super important to me. And it was getting to the point where I was putting on weight. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was totally burnt out, traveling all over the place. And so it was kind of like, it just was an unsustainable situation. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Totally.
Money was amazing. I loved what I was doing, which was basically what I'm doing now, except in a corporate capacity. But I just wasn't feeling any fulfillment from it because I wasn't actually helping people.
Yeah.
And so that's why when I started my business, I was like, you know what? I want to take everything that I've learned and I want to use it for good. And to me, using it for good is impacting people's families by helping business owners and entrepreneurs learn how they can become financially free through starting and growing their own businesses. And that is why I specifically am so passionate about helping entrepreneurs to grow.
Awesome. I love that. You have such a cool and unique story. So you're working with people who have an idea and then helping them turn it into a business. Is that right?
Well, we have about 5 different kind of core programs that we run within Kelly Roach Coaching. And then of course, I do private consulting and work with some bigger organizations as well. But our programs span from our 0 to 100K program, which is really like, I want to start a business. How the heck do I get my first client? Right. And then how do I get to that first 100K mark, which is always the hardest. Don't worry, guys. Like, I know it's really, really hard when you're getting started, but the first 100K is the hardest. I swear. Yep. It becomes much easier as you grow. So we have programs spanning from that up through my Legacy Leader program, which is really for 7 and multi-7-figure entrepreneurs and CEOs that want to step out of a production role. They're really focused on building and scaling their team. And the focus of that whole program is really, helping the business owner get to the point where they can spend more time on causes that they care about, starting up passion projects, and really beginning to remove themselves from the day-to-day. So we really do cover the gamut, and we have very specific programs tailored to what stage the person is in, so that they're not dropped into, we've all had that experience of being dropped into a stream and like not being able to keep up, and then kind of be looking around like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I don't even know where I am. We try not to let that happen.
Cool. So talk to us about that scaling part. So once you have a business idea, how do you scale and build a team so you have that freedom that you're talking about?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, the most important aspect of being able to scale is building a team. And most people think you scale and then you build a team, right? But really you build a team and the team allows you to scale. Yeah. Right. So I think first and foremost, it's having that mindset that from day one, you want to be thinking about how you're going to build your team. And for me, building my team started 6 years ago with hiring a VA for 1 hour a week. Okay. So it started by outsourcing. It started by part-time contractors and all of that. And then it moved from outsourcing to insourcing. Okay. And that's where people tend to get stuck. Like, I think entrepreneurs are very good at saying, okay, I need to get started getting help, and they'll hire a VA, or they'll hire an outside contractor, or they'll, engage a company to help them with a specific area of their business. But it gets to a point where that actually then gets you stuck, because you're reliant on all these outside people that have their own businesses to run and lots of clients that they're serving. You are not their priority, right? They're not going all in on helping you to grow. And actually, my new book that's coming out in October is called Bigger Than You. And it's all about building a winning team. And it's all about learning how to become a great leader and a great manager so that you can get people, Rachel, that want to be on your team, that want to go all in on helping you with your mission. So it's knowing when it's the right time to first get help, and then knowing when it's the right time to go from outsourcing help to insourcing help, to getting people that are actually part-time or full-time employed by your company, where this is their focus, their mission, and their goal. This is their career, right? And there's a big distinction between someone who's a contractor for you and 15 other people versus someone that has said, yes, this is my career goal is to help you, Rachel, to achieve yours, right?
Yep.
Big difference.
Big difference. So let's talk about, how do we know when we're ready to actually start outsourcing, and then when we're ready to start insourcing?
Right. Okay. So as far as outsourcing, if you've made the commitment that you're going to do your business and you're going to follow through on this, you should begin outsourcing immediately. Because if you think about, there are hundreds and hundreds of tasks that it takes to run, build, and grow a successful business. Yep. Most of us are going to be very bad at most of them. Yeah. Right. So hence the frustration and overwhelm. We're spending 90% of our time doing things that, quite frankly, we suck at. Yeah. Right. Like, that thing that makes us great is also the thing that makes us really, really bad at all those other things. Right. So you want to get a plan as quickly as possible to get that first client on board, and then turn right around and reinvest that income and that revenue in getting help. Yep. Because that will become the catalyst for growth. The catalyst for growth is, how much can you do without working more hours? Right? Because there's a limit to how many hours any human being can work. And especially there's a limit to how many hours you can work productively.
Right.
Right. And so it becomes this puzzle where you're really focusing in on making the right decisions about how to expand your bandwidth in a smart, strategic way that's going to get a great result for your clients and the people that you're looking to serve, and is going to allow you to focus in on spending your time and energy on the things that you are great at, your brilliance, your zone of genius that only you can do. Right.
Yep.
So I don't know if that answered your question or not. Did that answer your question?
No, it did. So then how do we know when we're ready to take those people that we've been outsourcing, those contractors, and actually turning them into like full-time employees on our team?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, you have to always be assessing constantly the people that you're utilizing for help and looking at if the purpose is truly being fulfilled and if the goals are being met. And if you're seeing the money that you're utilizing to pay them translate into dollars and cents to the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think many people get in the mindset of getting a team working on all these tactical tasks that need to be complete so that they can focus on generating income, which is great in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't build a scalable system and team if your people are not generating revenue. Because think about that for a second. You're basically building yourself into this cycle where you're putting more and more and more rocks in your backpack, where you're having to carry those people on your back because now you have all these salaries to pay for people that are just treading water in the business. They're not actually producing income for you.
Right.
So this is one of the biggest things that I focus on working with people on is crafting job descriptions and setting up metrics and designing the roles that they're having people do in their company so that each role can profitably not only cover itself, but generate revenue and income for the firm. So it doesn't matter if it's a customer service person, an operations person, an accounting person, a marketing person, a sales person. You can look at just about every role that you would hire someone for in a small business, and they're either going to make you money or cost you money. And the degree to which you let people cost you money, then basically you're going to put a stop to your growth because you won't be able to continue scaling and hiring because you're losing money on that role. So they're not bringing in the money to fund for the next one.
Gotcha. Okay. Where are you finding these people to hire?
So we, meaning myself and my clients that are working on team and hiring people and scaling, tend to have the most luck with two things: referrals and universities.
Okay.
And there's dozens of different ways, obviously, that you can hire. But, so for me, I hire from my local university. I have 5 people on my team right now, all fresh out of Westchester University, which is the school that I went to. It's 10 minutes down the road from my house. I've hired many people that literally came on as an intern first. And then, we built a great relationship. They learned the culture of the company. They've done a great job. And then I hired them afterwards. What I love personally for me about hiring new college graduates is they come in, they're highly energized, they're at the beginning of their career, they want to learn, they want to grow, they don't have baggage from bad work experiences, they don't have bad habits from all these other, companies and cultures that they work for. And you truly have an opportunity to train someone on who you want your team to be and represent and what you want your brand to become. Now, most people have a tendency to say, okay, I need a salesperson. I'm going to go hire someone with 15 years of sales experience that's an expert. Mm-hmm. And I've seen many clients, go that route and they struggle because, this person has so much built up, I don't want to say jadedness, but they have past experience, they have knowledge, they have all these other things. And people think like, oh, you hire someone with experience, you don't have to train. Wrong. Sometimes it's actually harder. Many times it's much more difficult to train an experienced person than it is a new person because you have to break through all those filters, all those habits, all those experiences to actually get them. So I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't matter. You can hire an entry-level person, you can hire an experienced person. But if you're thinking that you're going to shortcut the process, that's a wrong kind of mentality to have going into it. Mm-hmm. It is a lot of work to train someone effectively and to get them performing for your business. And you definitely have to be willing to make the investment first. But that's an investment that will pay massive dividends over the course of your life, not just in revenue and profits, but most importantly in your quality of life.
Can you talk a little bit about the training process that you have?
Yeah, definitely. So, I find that most of the time when entrepreneurs come to me and they've had bad experiences with employees and they've really struggled to get them productive and profitable, it's almost 100% because the business owner didn't onboard them correctly and didn't have an organized system to make them successful.
Mm.
So, first and foremost, it's having absolute clarity around what is the purpose of this role? What are the key deliverables that I expect each and every week, the results and the deliverables that I want to accomplish? And then how am I going to set up this person's hour by hour plan for what they're actually doing with their time so that we can get that result? And I call that putting bumpers on the bowling lane. So, right, like I think most of the time when we hire someone, we dump a ton of tasks on their plate and we're like, here, this is your job. Go ahead, go. Right. And, they might get some of those tasks done. They might not. A lot of them, it ends up that the business owner has to do and then redo because they're not satisfied with the result. Right. But you have to put bumpers on the bowling lane for them because when someone's new, they can't through osmosis know what's going on in Rachel's brain about exactly how you wanted this to look and feel and what result you wanted and the way you wanted it done and why you wanted it done that way. Like they don't even know you. And so first and foremost is being absolutely clear on the goals and objectives and deliverables of the role. 2 is designing where they're spending their time so that you're setting them up for success to get those deliverables done and to get the result the way that you want it. And then 3 is making sure that you have a 90-day onboarding plan for them, starting with the 30-day plan, which is basically lining up every single day what you're going to be training them on so that they understand the thought process, the why, the intention, the culture, the brand positioning, the representation. There's a certain way that you want things done, Rachel, in your business versus how I would want them done in mine. And if we don't communicate that and articulate that clearly to someone, they might do it in a way that if presented to me, I would be like, that's fantastic. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted. They could present it to you, Rachel, and be like, this is horrible. Like, what is this? I need to completely redo this. And now you're frustrated and upset, right? So I think we see right and wrong, and it's not right versus wrong. It's really the distinction and the clarity and the communication and the articulation of what we actually want. So give them key deliverables, help them decide where their time needs to go, set them up for success to be able to deliver them, and then assume nothing. And give them the training and the support day by day, at least in the first 30 days, to make sure that what you expect and the outcome that you want to see, that you've given enough support in order for them to deliver that to you.
What are some of the things that you do with them in the 90-day onboarding process?
Yeah. So first and foremost, make sure that they're listening to the podcast, that they're reading my book, that they're going through every free training that we have on the website, that they're tuning into our live streams. Someone can't be an asset to your brand if they don't understand what your brand is about. So first and foremost is really having them take the time to educate themselves on like, who is this team that I'm joining? What is this company all about? What's the language that we speak, right? What is our core value system? What is our mission? How are we trying to help people? What are we trying to accomplish? So that's first, right? That's like setting the table. And then I think it's breaking down each of those things that you put on their job description and walking through what the step-by-step process or system that they're going to follow for each of those items is going to be. So for every single thing that every single person does in your company, there should be a documented step-by-step process in a Google Drive or in a Dropbox or in some type of storage place where that is documented. So that when you do the training with someone, you're walking through what the step-by-step process is. And for those of you guys that are brand new at this, you can do this as you train the person. So you may not have any of this done. That's totally fine. You can do it with the person as you complete. So I might sit down with you, Rachel, and say, okay, our process for promoting each podcast episode is, number one, we're going to do this. And what I would say is, Rachel, as I'm going through this, like, please write this down, then type it up, share it back with me. I'll give you any feedback. I'll make tweaks and then save it in the podcast promotion folder, right? Mm-hmm. So literally we did this. We have an A to Z podcast promotion process, right? And that's been passed through multiple team members as I promoted Stephanie into the marketing manager role and we hired Lindsay on full time. Basically, we just took all of those systems, all of those processes, and transitioned them from Stephanie to Lindsay. And it was a completely documented full cycle process that was very easy for Lindsay to step into because it was done. When Stephanie stepped into the role, her and I collaborated and created that together because she started at the same time that I was starting the podcast in 2015. So there was no process at that time. Does that make sense?
Totally. And I absolutely love that idea of documenting everything that you're doing.
It just makes it so much easier.
I know. I'm like, I really need to start doing that.
Yeah. It saves so much time. And it also helps you realize the gaps in your business. Right. Like, so for me, I'll give a perfect example. So with the podcast, we have a very, very specific and tight process that we do to promote each episode. I was looking, we're getting started working with a YouTube expert to grow our YouTube channel next week. And I was doing a bit of an audit this week and, looking at that. And I recognized that we had gotten away from our own system. We weren't following a systematic process each week, A to Z, for what we were doing when we did upload a new video on YouTube. Yeah. And so I went ahead and I created that A to Z process, which we're going to start now. But in doing that, it was like a huge light bulb moment for me because I was like, well, of course we're not happy with the results because we haven't been following our own process of doing an A to Z promotion of each video as it's released. Yeah. Right. So it helps you identify your own gaps in your business and plug those gaps so you can get better results more quickly.
I love this. You have my wheels turning. I'm like, oh, all the different things I could systematize right now.
Yes, really. Yeah.
So good. Okay. Do you think there's such thing as growing too fast, hiring too soon?
I certainly haven't come across people that have grown too fast. I do think there can be hiring too soon. Mm-hmm. And I think that the hiring too soon piece is more related to your readiness as a leader to commit to making the person successful and having your stuff together than it is the business. Because even if you hire too soon, if you're committed to making the person successful and you're strategic with what you're having the person do, you can grow into that person. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you use that asset the right way, then that asset is helping you produce revenue. So it doesn't matter that you weren't ready. You can grow up to cover that person and to make that person profitable and productive. What I see many times though, Rachel, in terms of readiness is it's not that the business isn't ready. It's that the leader isn't ready, meaning they haven't mentally made the decision that they're going to go all in on making this person successful. Metrics, KPIs, job description, hour by hour management, structure for the role, deliverables, and then the follow through each day, the training, the onboarding, the coaching. So I think it's more so a person readiness and a commitment than it is a business readiness. Does that make sense?
Totally. Can you talk to us about being an awesome leader for our team? What are some of the things that we need to do to step into that leadership role?
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, you have to be willing to have the tough conversations. Mm-hmm. Because the most important aspect of leadership is helping people become more. Mm-hmm. It's helping people grow and become more. Like that is a leader, is someone that inspires someone to want to grow more, do more, go further, tap into parts of themselves that they hadn't before. And the only way that you can help a person to grow is if you're willing to have tough conversations, right? And I don't even think they're tough conversations, but I know for new leaders, they feel like tough conversations. And that's the difference between me having been in leadership since I was 22 versus someone that's maybe starting leading for the first time. It can feel really uncomfortable to have coaching performance conversations where you're saying, this isn't where it needs to be. You're not where you need to be, but let's talk about these steps that we can take to improve. Let's talk about what's not working and how we can fix it. Let's talk about where you were, where you are now, and where I need you to get to in order to be performing in your role. Mm-hmm. Those conversations have to be happening every single week to build a championship team. So, yeah.
I like that. What are some of the things that you've done to develop yourself as a leader?
Well, I think that the most important thing is looking in the mirror constantly. So whenever I don't like what I'm seeing in my company, whenever I don't like what I'm seeing in my team, I always ask myself, what is lacking in me as a leader that's causing this issue or problem?
Mm-hmm.
So while I know that I hire entry level people that are still learning and growing, and so it's going to be a process of years getting them to the level that I want to get them to, there's always leadership gaps that either speed up or slow down how quickly your people are going to get to where you want them to be. Right.
Yeah.
So I call it look in the mirror leadership. So for me, how I improve as a leader is really assessing the problems in the business, what I want to fix, how I want to grow faster, what results I want to see, and then asking myself, what do I need to change about how I'm leading, how I'm teaching, how I'm coaching, how I'm holding people accountable, how I'm following up and following through in order to close this gap. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I love that you said that, because I think a lot of times we tend to point blame on other people instead of looking in the mirror and saying, what could I do better?
Exactly. And I think that's the most important characteristic of a leader is, one, caring enough about your people to invest in coaching them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And people think coaching is, many times people resist coaching because coaching is including having those tough conversations, but coaching is caring. Coaching is caring. The day that you stop coaching someone is the day that your relationship is going to begin to disintegrate, and eventually that relationship will completely dissolve.
Yeah.
So coaching is saying, Rachel, I believe in you enough that I really do truly think you can do better. You can become more. You can grow to the next level. And so I want to spend time investing in you to help you to get there. That's what coaching is all about.
I love that perspective. So good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So what does it mean to you to make an impact?
Well, first and foremost, it's helping people to realize their potential.
Mm-hmm.
In the business space, when you're representing yourself for the first time, you're representing your own business instead of someone else's. I think that is the most difficult position or transition for anyone to go through. So a big part of my job, Rachel, is helping people have the confidence to believe in themselves enough to ask for what they want and really go for what they want as a business owner, and having the courage and confidence to push through those tough times in the beginning so that they can make it to the level that they're truly capable of. To me, making an impact is having a positive outcome for the business owner's family. So when my leaders and when my CEOs and entrepreneurs tell me, for the first time I was able to pay for Christmas in cash. I was able to pay for my private school tuition for my kids because of the help that, we worked on together in my business. I was able to sign my daughter up for dance classes, and I never was able to afford it before. I was able to pay off my school loans. I was able to pay off my credit card debt. That's like what I live for. It's like I like want to every day have someone say, my life is better because we did this work together.
Love that. So good. Well, what's next for you? You've done so much already. What's coming up?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the summer's been fun. And, these last couple of months, I've been doing a lot more speaking at conferences and in organizations and stuff like that. And that's been a nice change of pace. In a couple of weeks, I'm leaving to meet up with my legacy leaders mastermind in Denver for a couple days. Those are my kind of high level CEOs, and we meet up a couple times a year and do an intensive together. So looking forward to that. And in the fall, my new book's coming out. It's called Bigger Than You, and it's the entrepreneur's guide to building an unstoppable dream team. So whether you're just having an idea of a business, or you're just getting started, you're building your business, or you already have a team, it's really the book that's going to outline for you how you can work, reasonable hours as an entrepreneur and still build a scalable business that you're really proud of, that allows you to accomplish your financial goals. So I'm super excited about that.
Ooh, I'm excited for that too. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Well, where can we connect with you?
Definitely. Well, if you're interested in learning more about team building and want to learn more about the book and all of that, I actually have free resources and a text opt-in. Can I share a text opt-in?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's called Bigger Than You. So all you do is text in Bigger Than You to 44222, and we will send you early notifications, free tools and resources, and trainings on how to start building your team, even if you're just getting started. And I think the biggest thing I want to convey to everyone, Rachel, is if you are just getting started building your business right now, that is the best possible time to be thinking about team. It's a lot easier to do it the right way the first time than it is to have to go back and rip the house down and rebuild it later on. So I think sometimes people think I'll build a team once I have this big business, but the team is what helps you get the big business and do it the right way without wanting to like rip your hair out and go crazy,
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. Well, we'll put all the places where we can connect with you in the show notes. Tell us about your podcast.
Yeah. So Unstoppable Success Radio, we have 3 shows that go live a week, and it's all about helping business owners grow faster and accomplish their financial goals without compromising their quality of life. It's a mix of written in questions from our subscribers, teaching lessons that I do solo, and then we interview amazing guests as well. So check out Unstoppable Success Radio.
Ooh, we will. Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom with us. I appreciate you so much. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Rachel. Thank you for having me on the show.
No problem. Bye. Oh my goodness, how good was that? I told you Kelly is the best. She's so good at helping entrepreneurs get started and create those systems and scale their businesses. So I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to tag me on Instagram at She's Making an Impact, and just let me know what else you would like to see on the podcast. Is there anyone else you would like me to interview? What kind of topics would you like me to cover? So head over to Instagram, let me know. If you haven't yet subscribed and left a review for the show yet, please go do that, because those reviews mean the world to me. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Please go to iTunes and give my mommy a 5-star review. Thank you.